promoting stacks of 5, 10, up to 15 different compounds. He makes very strong claims that he'll never get sick and that he's taking for the rest of his life. These are incredibly strong claims that simply aren't supported by research.
Mario Kelson back again with another video. Today we are watching a video about peptides. Until recently, I didn't know what peptides was. Until last week, I was with my sister. My sister was like, "You ever thought about using peptides?" And then I did a quick research and I saw that peptides are pretty much steroids, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. From what I've heard, from what I've seen, peptides are steroids, right? She asked me that because I've been on a fat loss journey for the past 2 years, pretty much. And my goal is to get to 10% body fat. And I'm getting closer and closer. I already lost 35 kilograms. I used to be obese. I'm looking way better now. But I never thought about using any of that, and I'm not going to do it because it's not necessary. It's been working the healthy way. Why would I change it? And if there's somebody out there who's thinking about starting to use peptides, steroids, I think the correct word might actually be steroids. That word is already demonized. And of course, they want to sell their drugs to you, and they won't use that word. They're going to use the word that's more fancy and that you might actually never heard, because growing up I always heard the word steroids. I never heard the word peptides until a couple of weeks. I mean, I've heard before, my sister talked about it, but I never actually knew what it was, right? And today, the video we are reacting is about that, peptides. This is MKTV, Mario Kelson here. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers until the end of the month. It doesn't cost anything to you, but it means a lot to me. Just press that like button. Let's get into the video. The Peptide Overconsumption Problem by Sherry Talks Fitness.
So I have the craziest peptide stack on the internet. I don't think anyone online or ever is taking more than me. I'm currently taking 15 right now. I'm gonna run you through everything I take.
How many of those did you take?
I took 9. Currently taking 15 right now. I'm gonna run you through everything I take.
How many of those?
How they do peptides? Okay. I was gonna ask how they do peptides, if they inject it, if they have to take pills. I guess they have to inject.
Did you take?
I took 9. Yeah, I did, I think, slightly overcommit.
Glenn with SS31. I took a break with my NAD because it was making me tired. This is my new case.
If this is anything like, if this is like steroids, you have to do this for the rest of your life. You have to inject for the rest of your life. And it's probably unhealthy. You're probably not going to live as long. If it's like a steroid, I'm just assuming that it's like I mean, I've never seen a steroid in real life, but I know it probably looks like this.
For travels, it has a space for my backwater. Here I'm actually going to put all of my pre-filled syringes.
Just wanted to share my current pepper stack with you guys. First up, I have my favorite, my bestie. This is Retta. You know what this is. Loving me some GHKCU. I have some MT1, I have some Solank, and its partner, Samax, and then of course I have some NAD.
The problem with TikTok is that these people are probably influencers, and they influence people, especially kids, and they're doing this thing, influencing other people to do the same thing. And if they get paid, if they make money off of it, I'm telling you, a lot of these guys, they don't care if they're messing up your health. A lot of them really just don't care. Guys, I advise you to go the healthy way. It's the way that I did. As I told you, I lost 35 kilograms so far. The healthy way. You don't need these things. You just need to eat a little bit below your maintenance. And matter of fact, you don't even need to do cardio. Cardio is good because it's gonna make the process faster, but you don't need cardio like that. If you just go to the gym, eat a little bit below your maintenance, and you just lift, you are gonna lose fat. I mean, assuming that these people are taking those drugs to lose fat, and I think the majority of people is probably.
Into social media.
I'm not in America, but I guess everybody in the world knows that America got an obesity problem.
media promoting stacks of 5, 10, up to 15 different compounds. He makes very strong claims that he'll never get sick and that he's taking for the rest of his life. These are incredibly strong claims that simply aren't supported by research. I think it's fair to say that medications like Ozempic and Wegovy completely changed the public conversation around peptides. And some way, somehow, it stopped being just about FDA-approved peptide medications and expanded into an entire world of experimental and gray market peptides. What started as one medication for a specific medical purpose turned into social media promoting stacks of 5.
I gotta know what's the difference between a peptide and
And
which one
two.
is worse for your health.
Neither is inherently worse. It depends on the specific compound, how it's used, and at what dose. If we're talking performance enhancement, anabolic steroids have well-documented serious long-term risks. Heart, liver, hormonal. With many so-called performance peptides, the problem is that evidence is thin and quality controls all over the place. Unknown long-term risks, contamination, mislabeling. Medically prescribed uses are a different story with known benefits and monitored risks. If you tell me your angle
You're telling me there's not enough studies there's not about enough studies about peptides in comparison with steroids, right?
let me double check. Yeah, broadly. Anabolic steroids have decades of data and their risks are pretty well documented. For many performance peptides, evidence is limited, especially for long-term.
Well, apparently there's not enough studies about peptides, and these people are promoting it like crazy and saying that it's not bad for your health just to make a bag.
10, up to 15 different compounds, each supposedly designed to optimize a different part of your body. For example,
better skin, here's GHKCU. You want to lose body fat, here's retatrutide. Want fast recovery? BPC 157. Want more muscle? Growth hormone or IGF-1.
Before you know it, you're not just being sold one medication anymore. You're being sold the idea that every aspect of your health, appearance, mood, focus, recovery, and even aging has its own injection. The websites selling these compounds.
This peptide thing is your sign to take care of your health, to go to the gym, to eat clean. This is your sign, because this just shows that people care about how they look. A lot of people think or say that caring too much about your looks is very superficial, but you should actually care about how you feel, but not just in the moment. You should think about the long run, and eating healthy and going to the gym, that's going to make you feel good. Now, these are people that never did those things probably in their life, and they want to take the easy route. They want to go faster, and they end up fucking up their lives. But I guess there's not enough studies, so I can't really say if it's bad for your health or not. It's if people have to inject it, I'm just gonna assume it's unnatural, because if it's natural, you don't need to inject it, right? So there's not enough studies. I wouldn't advise nobody to do this dumb shit.
Compounds literally say not for human consumption. But then you open TikTok and you have influencers showing themselves injecting not just one, but
Because they make money off of it.
multiple products into their bodies, documenting their results, and then posting before and afters, even giving dosing advice as if they're medical professionals themselves. And a quick disclaimer, I am not a peptides hater. I'm not anti-peptides. Some peptides are legitimate medications and have completely changed modern medicine.
I can't just say bullshit about it. She actually did her research. I didn't. I just talked to ChatGPT, as y'all saw.
For some background, a peptide is simply a short chain of amino acids. Some peptides are FDA-approved medications with real clinical uses. One of the best-known examples is insulin, a peptide hormone that is essentially for people with type 1 diabetes and many people with type 2 diabetes. Before insulin was discovered in the 1920s, a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes was essentially a death sentence. And that's because in type 1 diabetes, the body's immune system mistakenly attacks the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. So people with type 1 diabetes produce little to no insulin, so they literally need insulin to survive. The issue is, somewhere along the way, social media has stopped distinguishing between FDA-approved peptide medications and experimental research compounds. Now they're all grouped under.
No, there's a guy called Gunley, and he lost her life. He's a Brazilian bodybuilder that passed away a couple weeks ago or months ago. It's this guy right here. Apparently, from what I've heard, he used insulin. And apparently the problem with insulin is that if you use it, you have to have somebody, you gotta have somebody by your side, or you gotta tell the people that's around you, because it's gonna make you feel a lot weaker and you're not gonna want to eat. And what happens is that your sugar, it makes your sugar, the sugar in your blood go away, something like that. I don't really know like that, but you can literally die without noticing that you're dying. And apparently that's how this guy did it. Rest in peace. But you know, he was young. I think he was like 20, 21 years old, and he died because of this shit. I guess it's not steroid. I guess it's not a steroid, but you got bodybuilders using it. And I actually used to, you guys might not know, you guys obviously don't know, I never told this in the channel, but I grew up in Portugal. I'm from Angola. I speak Portuguese fluently. That's my first language. So I used to actually watch this guy's videos, right? And he passed away. And he actually had a decent physique before taking steroids. This was him before steroids. He was good. See, this is a problem with social media, because he thought this wasn't enough. It's not only social media though, it's also his environment. He was constantly around bodybuilders. I mean, that's his content. And he was around the Brazilian, the most famous bodybuilders in Brazil. And of course, I wasn't surprised when he started using steroids. You see, this right here was him before steroids. He didn't need that, but he went into the insulin route and he died. So yeah.
Under the word peptides, as if they all have the same level of evidence when they don't. The conversation has become centered around marketing how to optimize every single aspect of being human, even if it means taking substances with little human research. But before we get too far into this video, I want to introduce myself. If you're new here, my name is Cherry, and if you're returning to this channel, welcome back. On this channel, we talk about all things fitness, health, wellness, online gym culture, and sometimes the very weird things happening on the internet. And today's video is on the peptides conversation that has been taking over the health and fitness space.
The war on peptides.
There's a peptide called tachykinin.
Peptides are like supplements. The FDA is only.
According to the American Medical Association, physicians are seeing a growing number of young people, including high school and college-age students, using newer injectable peptides. One of the reasons they point to is something called looks maxing. And if you don't know what looks maxing is, it's an online community that's centered around basically optimizing your physical appearance.
Can anyone tell me why teenagers are pitting themselves in the peptides before their frontal lobe is even developed? Because there are kids who haven't even been lifting for 5 years and consider themselves experts. I'm on my 6th year doing my.
That's the problem. They don't want that. They don't want to spend time doing that thing. They want the final result without putting in the work.
Third bodybuilding show, and I still consider myself new. While yes, I know a lot, I'm not claiming myself as some expert. Yet you have teenagers giving out peptide stacks to other teenagers. We just forget what discipline is. Getting the physique is cool, but learning the discipline and what it takes is even better because you can carry those traits into other aspects of life. The looks maxing is only going to get you so far. Stop relying on peptides and do the hard work.
And honestly,
People want to do these things because it's easier, right? Everybody knows that by now. I'm not saying nothing that's new, but people want to do this because it's the easy way. But the thing people don't know, the majority of the people don't know, is that there's an easy way to go the healthy way, right? Hopefully, I'm making myself understandable. I think most people, when they try to get like a nice physique or they try to lose fat, something like that, they always try the extreme route, the Davy Goggins route, something like that, and and they end up and they end up getting lost in the sauce because that's not an easy route. Eating 800 calories in a day and still having to go to the gym and run 10 kilometers in a day, that's not the easy route. People don't know how to count calories. People don't know that walking can literally be enough for them to lose 30 kilograms. People don't know that. They don't know that sometimes they already work a job that can be considered cardio, so they don't really have to do more. They don't know those things. And you know what? It's not just their fault. It's probably the system. And when I say the system, I'm gonna call it the system because I don't know where you're at, but these things that some of us learn about fitness when we get older, the people that is going the healthy way, we actually had to do our own research. These are things that we could have learned at school, right? I could have learned how to count calories at school. I could have learned how eating below 300 calories, eating 300 calories below my maintenance can make me lose fat. And it's not gonna make me feel as depleted as if I was on a thousand calorie um 1,000 calorie deficit, right? But we don't learn these things in school, and that's why people end up going this route because you end up getting frustrated because you never get to the point that you want to get, right? That's what happens.
when you look at the way these compounds are marketed on social media, it makes sense. You're told that one peptide will give you better skin, another will make you leaner, another will increase muscle growth, and even reduce anxiety. You're being sold the idea that every single aspect of your appearance and your biology can and should be optimized. And it shows how much pressure social media puts onto people to constantly improve themselves. What starts as wanting to lose a little body fat and improve your skin can quickly turn into believing that every normal human experience needs to be fixed
Literally, eating healthy can be enough for you to improve your skin
with another injection. And before you know it, you've built an entire stack trying to optimize every single biological system.
I don't even know who got me started on these peppers. But I think I have a problem now because why did I just order 4 more different ones? Because I'm addicted now. I'm adding 4 more to my stack and I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I literally have a whole notebook of researching and my husband's like, you're serious? And I'm like, yes, I need all of these. I need all of these. And I don't know. I'm here for all of it. I'm here all about, your health journey.
You know what? If this is actually changing people's lives, this is the problem because there's not enough studies. Because I can say if it's good, or if it's bad. I wouldn't do these things because I don't want to fuck up my life. But if the studies say that it's good for your health, I would do it. If the studies say, yeah, do this shit, because I don't know if I would do it. If I have to do it for the rest of my life, inject myself every week or even every day for the rest of your life, that is a big commitment.
And what all these peppers can do for you. So I'm excited to, when I get my order in, I'll do an unboxing and I'll tell you what 4 more that I'm bringing to my stacks, or my stack.
I came across one creator who casually listed 15 different compounds, and he says that he takes them every day. Some of these peptides are FDA approved medications for very specific medical conditions, and some are still being studied in clinical trials. Some of the peptides that he listed haven't even been tested on humans.
So I have the craziest peptide stack on the internet. I don't think anyone online or ever is taking more than me. I'm currently taking 15 right now. I'm gonna run you through everything I take and what I take them for. So maybe you can add a couple of these to your stack because I have no side effects. I look and feel amazing. And the only reason I look red and like I'm burning up is because I just took MT1, okay? Totally normal. Okay. First thing I take, and this is the first one I started taking back in last August, is N80 Plus. This is cellular energy at its finest. I take it every day. I can take this for the rest of my life. I feel amazing. If you imagine your blood cells like batteries, this is decharging those blood cells. Second thing I take, glutathione. I will also take this for the rest of my life. This is your body's master antioxidant. Pair this with some vitamin C, and you will never get sick. You will never have breakouts. You will look and feel amazing. Your body will literally have zero toxins in it because your cells will have so much glutathione stored that any toxin in the body is immediately going to be attacked, okay? Next thing I take, Kisspeptin, help regulate my thing as well. She feels amazing, okay? SS31, this
He sounds so passionate.
heals mitochondria, your blood cells. Next one is MOTS-C.
I bet he's making a lot of money off of it.
This upregulates and expands your mitochondria. So it's like the mitochondria in your cells is like a car engine. Okay, it's like upgrading that car engine. You know, next one, KPV, anti-inflammation, gut health, really helps your immune system. This one is Glaze. This one, GHKCU, gonna take this for the rest of my life. It also has a ton of anti-aging, cellular healing, DNA healing. Next one I take, TB500, okay? This is part of the Wolverine stack, but this is the one you can run long-term, helps with recovery, anti-inflammation, love it, okay? Take it every single day, okay? Next one, Atomax, Bigger Brother to Samax. I also do nasal Samax as well. I pen Atomax, I take nasal Samax, ultimate focus stack. Next one, DISA, delta sleep inducing peptide. Best sleep of my life. Fall asleep faster and you get into REM sleep faster, which means, and then HGH I take. HGH, human growth hormone, GH, helps with fat loss, muscle growth, hair, skin, nail benefits. Like HGH has an amazing benefit. Like it's amazing. And I take a small daily dose so I can take it for the rest of my life. And then the last one that we're gonna talk about here, last one is MT1. So MT1 for that glow. But yeah, those are all the ones I take. They don't at all interact with each other or mess with each other. So I have no side effects. I get all the benefits from all of them. And because I do such a good job of loading up my body with all the nutrition I need, all the hydration I need, all the sleep I need, I make sure I'm training, getting out in the sun, all that, zero side effects, all results. And also I'm on 250 tests, just for anyone wondering. That's it though. No.
Out of the 15 peptides that
all results. And also I'm on 250 tests, just for anyone wondering. That's it though. No.
Out of the 15 peptides that he listed, only one is clearly FDA approved for specific medical conditions. That is the human growth hormone. After watching this video, I had a lot of questions. And maybe it's because I've been studying for the MCAT for what feels like forever, but it's honestly kind of surreal watching someone explain incredibly complex biology in a few minutes with complete confidence. And y'all, I have to study these things. If metabolism was that simple, I'm pretty sure I would not have the stack of books behind me right now. He makes very strong claims that he'll never get sick and that he's taking for the rest of his life. These are incredibly strong claims that simply aren't supported by research. And that's something you'll notice throughout his entire video. Even in scientific literature, they tend to use words like may or suggest or more research is needed. Social media somehow translate that in.
But the looks makes it are just so sure because the money is going to their bank account. That's why.
Into wow, this definitely works. And the main thing is that only a handful of these compounds are FDA approved. And even those are for very specific medical conditions, not for some broad anti-aging, fat loss, or optimization claims that you see being made in videos like this on social media. The major concern here is really overconsumption of these unregulated peptides that's being promoted on social media. Now, you might be wondering, if a lot of these peptides aren't FDA approved, how are people getting them in the first place? The answer is something called the gray market. The gray market refers to products that are being sold outside of the traditional FDA approved pharmaceutical supply chain, but not necessarily illegal. They're in illegal and regulatory gray area, as we would call it. For peptides, this usually means that companies sell them as laboratory reagents or research use only products rather than as medications. The reason is that many of the compounds have not been approved.
So people who buy it are the testers. They're testing and selling. They're selling this stuff for the people to test it, and people still buy it.
Approved as drugs for human use or have not been approved for the way they're being marketed. And another thing I started thinking about was the cost of all of these substances. Most of the people promoting these stacks are taking these compounds week after week and month after month, and some even say they'll be taking them for the rest of their lives. So looking at the prices on some of these websites, a single vial can range anywhere from $40 to over $200 depending on the compound and the supplier. Retatrutide is often listed anywhere from roughly $80
these guys are
to nearly
rich.
$500 depending on the dose. Again, these people are not just
Finding a therapist you actually connect with can feel like a lot to ask, but 82% of BetterHelp members say they'd recommend their therapist to someone else.
just making one-time purchases. So you can imagine how much that comes up to every single month. Even without calculating the exact dosing schedules, you're potentially looking at hundreds or even well over $1,000 a month just to keep the stack going. And that's before syringes, bacteriostatic water, shipping, or anything else. Because many of these products are being sold through the gray market, there isn't the same regulatory insight that you would expect from an FDA-approved prescription. That doesn't automatically mean every product is unsafe, but it does mean that there are important questions about quality control, purity, dosing accuracy, and consistency depending on where this product is coming from. I also came across a physician who actually purchased several of these products from the gray market and independently tested them in the laboratory. And some contained significantly less active ingredients than advertised, some contain contaminants, and some orders just never arrived because the sellers continued to request additional payments.
I did not inject these peptides into my body. I took them to a lab to test them for sterility and purity and dosage. All of the peptides that I had ordered from Swiss Chems had significant problems. One vial contained lead, another vial had endotoxins, and a third had less than half of the dose that was advertised on the label. The vial of MOTS-C was 98% pure, but of course that doesn't mean that it actually does what you think it does. My order from Peptide Nexus never arrived. They kept asking for more money in the form of Bitcoin, and eventually they just ghosted me. We have so little data on the safety or the efficacy of a lot of these peptides. Some of them might have some interesting animal studies, they might have some theoretical reason that they might work, but for the purpose of clinical application in humans, that is basically meaningless. Maybe it's not the best idea to be injecting yourself with something that you found off the internet.
That highlights the major issue with the gray market. Even if a compound itself has promising research, you have no guarantee that what's inside the vial actually matches the label. Doing these substances without medical supervision can lead to serious consequences. Almost every creator making these videos has an affiliate link, a discount code, a Telegram group, or some other way to sell these products. They constantly tell viewers to do your own research, but very few of them actually provide.
If they're testing this, the people they're selling it to are the product. Because they're still testing this, that there's nothing approved about it. So the people that's taking it are the product. And you're doing the research for them.
The research that they're referring to.
Everyone's talking about ARA 290 for healing nerve damage, right? Muscles, everyone's thinking like muscles, joints, but what no one's talking about, and probably the most important thing it can do, is heal nerve damage in your brain, okay? I've had 5 concussions. I was actually talking to someone about this, and the most important reason I'm taking ARA 290 isn't because of some injury or nerve pain I have, it's because I probably have severely damaged nerves inside my brain from a lot of blunt force activities, playing football, doing a lot of head-to-head hitting. I've had 5 concussions in my life. Other people that have nerve damage in their brain from, cancer, other brain issues, blunt force, things like that. I think a lot of you guys should be using and researching ARA 290 for this reason. Like I said, there's not clinical research for it yet, but mechanistically speaking, it activates your innate repair system, which is basically your body's emergency repair system, and it not only heals nerves, but creates an environment for them to regenerate more effectively and efficiently. So I don't know how this is gonna work. I've been on it for a couple of days, but I'm really excited to see the results on it, and I really hope they do like a clinical research. They do some clinical research on it.
They don't link any systematic reviews, clinical trials, or PubMed articles. The only link they consistently provide is the one that earns them commission if you buy the products. And furthermore, as someone who's currently reading through several articles a day just to prepare for this exam, I have to slow down and look up terminology, understand figures, interpret statistics, and ask whether the conclusions actually support the claims being made. And reading one paper on peptides doesn't suddenly make me comfortable injecting an experimental compound into my body. So when influencers say do your own research, I think they're oversimplifying what scientific literacy actually looks like, because the average person probably isn't gonna spend hours reading primary literature or comparing studies. Most people aren't probably not trained to do that, and that's okay. However, when you go through the comments under these posts,
She says most people won't even read enough. I think most people won't even read, period. They're gonna open TikTok, they're gonna search for it, watch a video, and then buy it because they're tired of trying and trying and trying and never achieving their goal because they don't know how to. It's not necessarily because they don't want it, it's because they don't know how to.
it really becomes very, very concerning. I came across an account called Dr. Emily Roberts, and I almost assumed it was an actual physician because the name said doctor, but the profile picture showed 3 people wearing lab coats. But I was curious as to why would a medical doctor be promoting the use of unregulated peptides? And then I clicked on the profile. I couldn't find any indication that this profile belonged to an identifiable physician. Instead, the profile actually turned out to be an account that is promoting peptide suppliers while responding to comments essentially promoting the purchasing of these peptides. I'm on Reddit TrueTide and thinking about adding tesamorelin for PCOS. Anything else I should add? To which they responded to simply by saying BPC 157 without any discussion of the person's medical history, diagnosis, medications, risks, or even evidence. These things do not happen in comment sections or social media regardless. They happen in a doctor's office or over some controlled environment where patient information is usually protected. And that's the crazy thing. This person is posing as a medical professional and giving somewhat medical advice. Whether or not someone chooses to trust advice is their decision, but it's striking how quickly social media can create an appearance of medical authority. These are the kind of questions that people would normally ask a physician. Instead, they're asking complete strangers on TikTok whose qualifications we don't know.
Come with me to order another peptide from Rebirth to add it to my stack. They just started carrying this. I've seen a lot of hype around it, so I want to try it. It's called Penelon. Now, I want you to think of Penelon like the anti-aging / repair crew for your brain, okay? If your brain's like a smartphone, right? When smartphone's new, battery capacity, 100%. Apps work fine. Everything's great, right? As you get older, the battery capacity isn't as much, apps don't work as fast, everything feels slower. That's your brain. Penelon reverses this. People that take it report better sleep quality, like significantly better sleep quality. They report better mental clarity. They report better mood stability, better dream quality. Like I've heard people say 8K dreams. I'm excited about that. I had to stop Penelon is something I never thought I would say, but I did. If you guys know anything about Penelon, it activates your brain's natural repair system, but the things you feel are really deep sleep, morning readiness, and very vivid dreams. I would say the last one is probably most talked about. It's probably talked about the most, and I had to stop it because of that. I was waking up mentally exhausted and sweating because my dreams were so vivid, I didn't even feel like I was sleeping.
Are you surprised? Why is that so, why is that so mind-blowing?
At the same time, when you go into any post concerning peptide skepticism or warning people of the dangers of peptides, you see people saying things like, the FDA approves McDonald's, as though skepticism towards one institution automatically validates every claim being made by an influencer. And whether someone trusts the FDA or not, scientific evidence still has to stand on its own. And when you take a step back and realize who this kind of messaging is targeting, I think a lot of people watching these videos of people trying these different peptides aren't actually trying to become biohackers. I think there are people who are probably just scared of aging, people who are living with chronic illnesses and just want some form of relief. Maybe it's someone who's healthy but feels enormous pressure from social media to look.
Or maybe someone who's been trying for a long time. Or maybe kids that just don't have enough mental capacity to make their own decisions, so they trust a TikToker. Or maybe even older people, 40 plus people, that simply believe TikTokers for no reason. I've met those. I wouldn't be surprised.
Perfect. A perfect example I can think of is a teenager who might see someone with a physique that they want and thinks, if I just have what he's taking, maybe I can look like that too. This kind of confidence is so persuasive.
Because it also made me think back to when I was a teenager. Like a lot of people, I watched influencers. I brought the protein powder, the pre workout, the creatine, and I tried different diets because that's what I thought you were supposed to be doing. Now, looking back, I realized I actually didn't understand most of what I was doing. I was trusting people online because they look the way that I wanted to look. And I think that's a really common experience. So when I see someone who has the physique that a lot of young people aspire to have, talking directly to teenagers about injectable peptides that are not regulated, I can't help but think about how persuasive that can be. And this is not just hypothetical. I even came across a teenager documenting their own peptide journeys online. It really shows that younger people are now seeing this content, engaging with it, and in some cases trying to replicate what they're watching. That's why I think parents should at least be aware of this kind of content. Because if your teenager is interested in fitness, bodybuilding, and looks maxing, there's a good chance they're being exposed to these conversations online.
When I look at a lot of these videos, I see an entire mindset being sold. It's the idea that if you just find the right injection, the right stack, the right protocol, or the next peptide, you can prevent aging, prevent disease, optimize every system in your body, and somehow stay one step ahead of being human. Although the ultimate goal of these
If it sounds too good to be true, it's because it probably is.
influencers is financial gain. When you look at the faces behind the videos, a lot of these people promoting it are young. They appear healthy, tan, they're in great shape, showing their transformations, and it's usually strictly things that are concerned with appearance. They're talking about taking multiple compounds because they themselves are afraid of things like aging or getting sick and trying to optimize things that may not even be problems in the first place. And it's as if somewhere along the way we've started treating completely normal parts of being humans as problems that need to be medicated away. And it's unfortunate that we've gotten to that point. And I understand that wanting to reduce the risk of diseases like cancer or heart disease, because we all want to live long, healthy lives. But that's very different from believing that a growing stack of experimental compounds is the answer, especially when many of the claims being made.
And the people using that shit, they gotta be making that bag. If each single one of those cost $100 and you have to do it every day. And look at this, it doesn't seem to be like each one of these is very small. I don't know how much they use per week, but I'm just gonna assume one of these is you're gonna be able to use each one of these for like a week, right? If there's somebody taking peptides right there, please tell me in the comments. Imagine if they gotta use one of those per day. $99 a day? Nah, it's probably not per day. It's probably like each one of those is probably enough for 1 week. Still, you see the amount? Do you see like the amount of things, the amount of capsules they got here? These people using peptides, they're making that bag.
Compounds is the answer, especially when many of the claims being made simply haven't been proven in long-term human studies. It almost feels like health anxiety being sold as optimization, where the solution is always as simple as buying another vial, another injection, another peptide that's supposedly going to fix the next thing. It's very alarming that many of these compounds are still being researched and some have very limited human evidence. And my concern is that social media is normalizing the idea that if one compound is good, then maybe 5 or 6 must be better. And then if 5 are good, then maybe 15 to 20 is the key to becoming the best version of yourself. And that's a message worth questioning. I don't think we should stop asking questions about new therapies because that's how science moves forward. I also think that we should absolutely not replace scientific evidence with influencer confidence. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think social media has started normalizing experimental compounds a little too much? Or do you think that this is simply the future of medicine? Let me know down in the comments because I genuinely...
Oh no, I believe the future of medicine, I'm not a medic, I'm not a doctor, but I believe the future of medicine is probably with AI. Like doctors knowing how to use AI or robots, something like that. But I don't think the future of medicine is in a 10-second TikTok video. Nah, I don't think so. I personally don't. I think this is the end of the video, right?
Want to hear both sides, but if you've enjoyed this video and want to hear me talk more about topics in the fitness, wellness, and diet culture space, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so...
Yep, it is up. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this topic. Let me know if there's anybody out there watching this video that ever used a peptide. Let us know your opinion in the comment. Is it really that bad for your health or not? Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers until the end of the month. Peace out.